Hey folks, it's Frithgar here, how you doing? Welcome back to Farming Simulator 19 here in Boulder Canyon. Just running over here to check on the sheep, make sure that all is tickety-boo and wonderful with them. And I'm going to look in there. We've got our chickens over here, we've got 384 so far. And they are increasing. Once they reach 400, I will sell 50 and we'll keep it going like that. So 300 and we'll go 350. Although once they reach 400, I will fill the feed right up. And then that will just help them go just a little tiny bit longer. We've got 139 sheep at the moment. We could do with putting a bit more grass and hay in now. And our field over here, we did do the spraying. We've now got fully fertilized on there. We've also done the weed spraying on it as well. There's a few dots around. Honestly, I don't think they make any difference. And the lime, I'm not going to worry about the lime down the side until the whole field actually needs to be done. And the grass field, we're not going to bother with. So, there's the sheep. We will go and deal with them a minute. We'll go and get our tractor, which is all the way over in this shed over here. And we will take that one, do what we need to do over there with the sheep, and then we will skip the night. After which, we can go back to doing a little bit more timber work up there, because that's the next thing that we want to do, isn't it? We need to get the rest of those trees cut and removed. Once those trees are done, once they're out of the way, that's going to be it. We will then be able to start work on building our next field, and that field's there's a fair-sized field there, I think. We'll end up with quite a bit of land, which is a good thing. It's a very good thing to have that much land. So we'll start off with this bucket here, and we'll go and clean up the chickens. And then, we don't actually need to put any food in for the chickens. They're doing just fine at the moment with food. I'll check the presents a minute. We'll go and have a look at these, because it randomly puts stuff in. Right, there's nothing coming into those. That one over there has got 1,000, and that one's got 600. But there's nothing going into the parcels at the moment. They do work. They have been tested and tested again. Patrio actually posted on one of the videos last week that he's run additional tests on them, and they are working properly as intended. It's all doing everything that they should do. It's just it might take a little while for them to start filling up, because we've got others in here, and we know that it does randomly apply the material into the... It randomly puts the eggs into the different containers. It doesn't necessarily just go with one of them. These here, however, I am wondering whether or not they're going to work at all. We'll find out. Hopefully by the morning we may have found out whether or not they're going to work. I got a feeling that we may end up only being able to do 6 pallets on there. And, well, you can put them in front. You can move them round, and you can put 2 of them in the front if you want to. But I'd rather not do that, to be honest. It's just a little bit of a nuisance having to go and do that. Right, I'll scoop that lot up with a bucket for once. I normally do it with the bale spike, but we can do it with the bucket. We'll dump that lot in there. Like that. And having a look at the animals, what do we actually need? Cleanliness and water is absolutely fine, and if we look in here, well, they don't need anything. We do want to put some bales in for this one, so we'll go and do a few bales for this one. We've got 1 bale of straw saved over there, which I'm not going to do anything different with that one. I'm just going to leave that bale of straw where it is, and we'll eventually get to using it once we get the cows and get started with them. We don't need to worry about them just yet. So let's put the bucket down there, like that. And then move over a little bit and get that spike right there. The muck fork is the one that we actually use. But I'm not going to this time. I'm gonna do things differently, and I'm gonna use the actual bale spike, because we haven't used this for ages. So we'll get that one. Now, there are some people who've been saying for quite a while that I should get a dog here on the farm. You know, it's a bit lonely here, and dogs provide excellent company, and they also provide they're good guards as well. They help guard the place. I'll be honest, I'm not really a dog person, which is why I've not bothered about getting a dog. I'm just not a dog person. I never have been. So getting a dog is not been a priority of mine at all. I wonder if I can do this The problem with doing this, like, if I had my steering wheel set up, and I was using my steering wheel, it wouldn't be quite so slow with the move. It's quite jerky with movements when you do it like this. I mean, it did do it just fine just there, but it's difficult to do it with a stack of bales moving that round. Right, 55,000 litres. We'll leave it like that, and we'll worry about getting some more in the morning. I'm just going to leave this one here, and then in the morning, we may end up putting another bale in. We may not. I'm not quite sure. What is the breeding rate on these now? Every 7.25 hours now. So we're getting 3 sheep a day now. So slowly increasing. We did go and blow a whole load of money on more sheep. That's everything that we want to do there. And honestly, we could go and start doing a bit of timber felling this evening, but I don't actually want to. One thing that I do want to do is just keep a bit of an eye on egg prices and everything. Those are going way down. Wool is rock bottom at the moment. Silage is up quite nicely. And then we've got prices over here. So that's 1,100, which is down at the moment. And oats, which we have just gone and planted, that is down 786. So we'll see what that does. We want to get until 7 o'clock, I think, before we can actually skip the night. And then we will skip. Well, normally we skip 11 hours. But if we do it exactly 7 o'clock, we can skip 12 hours. At least that's what I'm hoping. And how are these doing? That's at the bottom there at 787. And the eggs are still plummeting. That's not moved. Milk at the moment is 991, so I don't know if that's going to come back up. And most people have been saying, yeah, maybe have a minimum quantity for milk. But other than that, don't worry about it. Just sell the milk as and when, because milk tankers do go quite a distance in order to go and collect milk. I was going to do after, when it got to 8 o'clock, 7 o'clock, sorry, but it's a bit late for that now. So if I skip now and do 11 hours of sleep like that, it'll take us through until the morning. 7 grand loan interest, which now puts us at minus 7,000. Paying off the loan is another priority of mine. It is something else that I would like to do. So right now we're still 787. We're still down on the oats. Eggs, 1,500 at the moment. And wool is going up. That's going up quite nicely right now. Let's go over this. I've got a load of wool on that trailer already, ready to sell. And then if I come over here, I'm still not getting anything on these outside edges over here. I've got 7,000, 10,000, 10,000, and 90 on there. So I could actually sell wool today without any problems. Right, fill type. It's that one up there, 628. These at the front aren't loading, and that one at the back is loading. So it looks like it's just going in that one at the back at the moment. 1,072, wool has reached maximum sale price at the moment. Silage has reached the low point. Beans are 1,400, which is pretty good, I'd say. And oats are now just starting to come back up again. I'm going to knock that back down to 5 times like that. And I think we could actually go and sell the wool right now. Sheep themselves, down at 50,000. If I put another, I'll put one more bale into the sheep. And that will keep them going for a minute. Won't have to worry about getting any more in there for a little bit. And I'll bring that over there. Considering how much I've already used, I'm thinking that our next crop off of our field up there will also be hay. We will also take hay off of that one again so that we have more over here, because we don't have that much. And by the time we go through and we increase the number of sheep that we got here, because we are pumping money into that at the moment, we're going to be wanting quite a bit of hay, aren't we? So I'd say that's probably our next priority, is to go for hay. Now, I could go for the bale thing, the muck fork, but I'm not going to. I'm going to go for the bucket, because then I can clean up the chickens at the same time. Go and grab that one. Let's just keep half an eye on that price. I don't want it to start coming down again. 1,200 for milk. Okay, so milk, we get good prices. That one at 1,072 is stopped right there. I'm not going to do anything else with that one. And, yeah, it's whether or not these pallets for wool are... Yeah, is there anything coming off of those? Oh, that's the other thing I want to look at was the chickens. How we're 309... We're maxed out for chickens. We're now maxed out for chickens. So I will fill everything up with the chickens. And then we will... Right, I got to just lift that up a little bit like that. I don't have that bouncing. We will fill everything right up with the chickens. And then I will sell 50 chickens. So I will drop that down there a second and run over here. Where's the water tap? Oh, the water tap's down this way. My bad. There it is. Turn that one on. There we go. There's some water going into the chicken pen up there. Still running. Still running. Wow. Okay. A lot of water goes into the chicken pen. A surprising amount of water goes into the chicken pen, actually. I'll go over this way, and I will put water in for the sheep, like that. And then we will scrape up all of the grass in front. Then, next up, I'm going to go and get that trailer on. We've already got the single wool pallets on there that we picked up from previously. And I'll come back over here, and I'll gather up all of these wool pallets as well. And then we will cart them round to the sell point, and we will make arrangements for the merchant to come up and get them. And then, once he's been up and collected all of those, then I think the next thing that we want to do is get started on cutting down some more timber. We want to get the rest of that field chopped down. That's kind of our big job that we want to do. There's all of that grass gone in as well. So the sheep are clean, tidy, and ready to roll. Let's just make sure the wool price... No, wool price still hasn't come down again. I'm going to put that down to 1x speed a second. I'll bring this one around. We can leave the bucket on. We can just leave that going with the bucket and the front loader and everything. It should stay on there. Back you up to here. Put you in there. And then I'll bring you over this way. So we've got 6 pallets on there at the moment. I'll take those straps off like that, and then press U to start it loading, and it's got that bit on. And then it should load up the rest of them. Right, it's leaving behind 2 pallets. It's not going to let me take those, so we'll find out if those 2 pallets will actually take wool, or if it's just not going to work with that. This is actually a really good thing. We can find out now properly whether it's going to work or not. So what I'm going to do here is, I know I normally have them strapped down, but if I put them over the bridge like this, because they're loaded onto the trailer, they shouldn't do anything. But if I bring them up to there and then stop and then unload on the trailer, the whole lot should sell. Nice! $35,000 from selling wool, just like that. So now I'm going to... We've just clicked it to 5x speed. I'm actually just going to bring this one over and get it lined up ready. Bring it over onto here. As soon as that is lined up and ready for... Oh, wait a minute. I want to press U to stop that. And then I want to do that. So I've got it roughly in the right place. And all I got to do is just bring this trailer forward a little bit. And get it to the right spot right there. But what I'm going to actually do is I'm going to bring the trailer, jackknife it like that, and completely destroy it like that. And bring that back around a little bit. And then over like that. There we go. Reasonably straight back, so I'm back out the way a little bit. And now I'm going to... No more space. Right. Doesn't work. 8 pallets does not work. It's not going to allow us to put the 8 pallets down, which means they're not hooked over quite enough. And because they're only hooked over a little bit, what it's actually doing is it's stopping them from spawning at all. So if I drop them there, like that, we can go and... Actually, there's an easier way to do this. I'll bring you back like that. Bring you back. A little bit more. And turn a bit, like that. Right, now I will start loading, and I want to get the front 2 pallets right there. Just want those front 2. 1, 2. There. Now, stop it loading. Those 2 pallets there will be the ones that we keep on this trailer. We will keep them reserved for the next sheep pen. Now, I can put the 2 of them in front of the 6 that we've got there, but I don't want to be messing around with them like that. I'd rather just keep them nice and even and straight and so on. So I'll put that onto there and then stop them loading. Oh, no, that's started again. That's stopped. And then just press Y so they go onto there and put the straps on and undo the trailer like that. And then we will go back round to the sheep again and we will nudge those 6 pallets backwards just a tiny smidgen so that we've got all 6 pallets within the spawn area. That's what we need. We want to have all 6 of them back within that spawn area. So back round there like that. There we go. And then bring them up this way. Lower you down and just nudge them forward a bit like that. There. That's all we need to do. We don't need to do anything more than that. Just a little nudge forward like that and it's absolutely fine. So that's those. They're brilliant. They're wonderful right there. I'm going to park this tractor up over here. I'm going to put that one down there. Put the bucket out like that. So that it's basically it's just weatherproofing the bucket. It's not ideal leaving it with the rams out. You've got to basically, if you've got a bucket like that, you've got a choice between leaving it with the rams out so the bucket is down like that and the water doesn't sit in a bucket and rust out the bottom of it. But with the rams being out, then they're exposed to the elements, and you don't really want that. Or you leave it crowded back, so the rams are sealed, but then the bucket fills up with water. So basically, you've got to pick one or the other. You can't have both, right? Both things, it's just not an option. It's not going to happen. And how much wool do we get over there? We've got 82 litres ready for our next round. So there's $27,000 at the moment. Do we have anything else that we want to sell? I've got 30,000 litres of beans, which is not enough to be able to sell. I need to grow more beans if I want to be able to sell some. We've got 27,000 litres there, which is being kept for chickens and also pigs when we eventually get them, although we're not getting pigs just yet. And our animals over here, oh, that was the other thing I want to do, was I want to get a trailer on, and I want to bring wheat and barley over, fill that pen right up for the chickens. So I need to use you again. Fill the pen right up for the chickens. And then after I've done that, I will sell 50 chickens. And then after I've sold 50 chickens, we will then go get into our tree harvester and start chopping down some more trees. We've got a few bits of timber here all ready to sell at the moment. But we're going to want more than that. We're going to want a lot more than that. We've got, yeah, see, we've got those bits of timber there. I want all of those trees. Every single one. Although I'm thinking maybe today we could go and do a few more of the trees. No, I'm not going to worry about that. I don't think. Well, not today anyway. Wheat. Start the barley right there. So 8,000 litres of barley into the trailer. I probably don't need a full 8,000 litres. But you never know. You might need a few. I'm going to go this way round. I'm going to drive right round the chicken pen. Up over this one. Like that. No, I'm not going to start unloading it. Not there. Bring you on round. I think this one tips on the left, so really I'll be tipping it the wrong way coming onto here, but never mind. We'll have to try and remember. Yeah, it does tip on the left, because look, I'm bringing that to there, and it's not giving me an unload option at all. So, tip side left, tip side right. There, now it'll unload. So if I go like that, and it tips out onto that side. See, this is why we use the trailer and not use the front bucket, because of the obscene amount of grain that we have to put in for these chickens. 20,000 litres for a full 400 chickens in there. 20,000 litres, that's a fair bit. But then what I can do is I can go into here, and I can start selling these chickens. They're all the same price. Seasons, the chickens are different prices, but these are all different. So I'm going to move. I'm just going to do it like that. Chicken stock. Well, that's trying to move the rooster. So if I put it down there, it should move all. There we go. That's better. And I want to move that through until I've got 50 chickens left. 1, 2, there. So I've sold 50 chickens. That's going to get me... Really? I get $500. I get $1,250 for selling those. But there's a fee of $750 for coming and collecting them. So I only get $500 for that. That is absolutely ridiculous. Seriously, it is absolutely ridiculous, right? I do that one there, look. $25, a $15 fee per chicken to come and get them. That is absolutely ridiculous. It is appalling. It's genuinely appalling. That is a huge amount of money just being wasted for picking them up. But unfortunately, the game doesn't allow you to move the chickens yourself. So it's not like you've got any choice in the matter. You're not allowed to go and do it yourself. So you've literally got no option whatsoever other than to just allow the game to steal your money from you, which I think is terrible. I'd rather go and do it myself, although we don't have an animal sell point. So it's not really a lot that I can do about it anyway, is there? Alright, it doesn't look like it's going to rain, does it? So we will leave the bucket crowded back this time. I'll bring you into there like that. And I'm just going to leave you parked onto that one, like that. And then we're going to go up here. Yeah, I'll leave the stumps for a minute. I'm going to go on to you. And we're going to start working over here. So I'm going to go up round the side of the field this way. And I'm going to sort of work up through this bunch of them up through here. We'll take a few of these out. We just get a drink a minute. Right, that's better. And we can switch that bad boy on like that. And then we can start harvesting some trees. We should be able to get a nice bit of money out of this. And I mean, I have got other things that I want to buy. I mean, paying off the loan is a good thing to do because it costs us $7 grand per day. So paying off that loan is a bit of a priority. That 7,000 per day now it's starting to get quite costly for us, isn't it? So really, we want to be seriously considering paying it off. However, I also have other things that I want to get that earn us a boatload of money, right? So if I was to go and spend that money on investment rather than on the loan, we'd get a higher return than 7 grand a day. The sheep, how much do we get from the sheep? I'm not sure what that is on a daily rate. If you were to like work out what we get per day for the sheep for the wool, I reckon it's more than 7 grand. Like we got what was it, $35,000 for selling the wool, and that was, I think that was 3 days worth, which is definitely more than 7 grand a day. So paying off that loan, whilst it is something that we want to do, I think that money being invested in other things is actually going to be more profitable. What are we at? We're at $500,000. Now, with $500,000, I can buy 2 sheep pens. I mean, I can't buy 2 sheep straight away, but two sheep pens full of sheep. Although, $500,000, I could buy 1 sheep pen, couldn't I? Let's have a look at this. Large sheep pasture is 180,000. I could just about fill that up with sheep with the $500,000. And that is going to get me way more than 7 grand per day. So, I mean, this is what you got to look at with like a business loan. You take out the business loan, you hope to make a lot more money on your loan than you do with paying back the loan, right? You hope that your business is going, if you borrow £100,000 or $100,000, whatever your particular currency is, if you borrow that kind of money, your business, unless something's going wrong, your business is going to be making more money than what you're paying in interest on the loan per day. So if you've got a choice between using that money to invest in infrastructure or going along and just paying off the loan, well, you wouldn't need the loan in the first place if you're going to do it like that, would you? So, yes, paying off the loan is something that I want to do, but I don't view it as a priority because I view that in my opinion, that $500,000 that we've got is more valuable to us if we're paying for the privilege of having the money and we're using that money to make other things. Well, that's just how it all works, isn't it? That's how money in general works. So yeah, so long as we can keep making our payments, and so long as we're still making money on the $500,000 that we've borrowed, I see no reason to rush to pay off that loan, not when we've got other big things that we want to go. I want to upgrade the combine so that we can get our harvest done a lot faster than we do right now. Also, if we're going to be changing over our fields a bit, but then, even without that, I want a bigger combine. Right? The combine we got is great, but it's slow and it takes a long time to get through a harvest. Being able to speed up the harvest means that we'll be able to make more money per hour. And more money per hour, I'd say was a reasonable thing to want. I'd say that was a reasonable expectation to have, isn't it? More money an hour. I'm never one to complain about more money per hour. Right, let's drop that down there. And this one I'm just going to chop over here. Chop off over here. Chop up over here. And there. Then I'm going to back round. I'm going to go on up and start going into this next little lot right here. I'm going to go all the way up to the very top. Working my way up this strip. All the way up here if I can. Over there. And lower that one down. Then haul that back over this way. And there. Well, we're not going to be doing any harvest work today, are we? The things aren't going to be ready today, but I reckon that by, one more sleep, then we will be able to go and start doing our harvest work, which is going to result in us having the oats for sale down the bottom, as well as the straw that will come from the oats, although I'm tempted to keep the straw, purely so that we've got a stack of straw kept back ready for when we've got cows or pigs starting off. And I'm still thinking that cows is the ones that we want to start with. And we can go with cows pretty soon as well, I think. I don't think it's going to be long before we need to seriously consider the cows. I mean, I've talked about the cows, don't get me wrong, but then I talk about a lot of things. There's something that I do is talk about things. So, yes, I've talked about the cows, but I do think that we're not far off seriously, looking into getting them and starting off with them, especially with the rate that we're now making money with the sheep. I know that it's not huge profits just yet, but with 130 odd sheep, the amount of wool that we're now getting is quite reasonable, which means that we're sort of getting to the point where that the amount of money coming in from the sheep means that we're not going to be reliant on this anymore. With the sheep and the eggs from the chickens now and the crops that we grow, the timber to start with was our main source of income, wasn't it? That was the source of income, was getting the timber. Now, the only real reason I've got for doing this is not that I need the money from the timber, although that money is going to be good, and all the money that we're going to get from this massive whack of timber now, that will go towards, most likely that's going to go towards what do you call it? The new combine. I think that's got to be our top priority. But we're also going to need new machinery for planting, aren't we? We already discussed that last week, to be able to plant the corn for the pigs. And yes, we can go and get a header for the combine that we've got. However, that's a bit expensive. It's not expensive to buy, it's expensive to run because of the time factor in it. There's a really small header, so the amount of time that it's going to take to actually be able to cut all of the corn in the field and do that on a regular basis, it's not worth it. It's really not worth it. Right, I can't see what I'm doing with this thing at the moment. There we go, that's better. And lower you down like that. That stump I may have cut a little bit high. That's fine. It's fine, it's fine, it's fine, it doesn't matter. Chop you down through there. We're doing quite well up through here. We're going to have a nice lot of timber by the time we've finished. Chop that one off. Yeah, I'm just going to go straight forward because that stump there, I definitely cut that one wrong doing it like that. Get that one next. Nudge it forward a bit, like that. And once I've done one run, that's what I keep doing. Like, you put it down and it makes the entire machine bounce. So then when you go to cut it, it bounces up ever so slightly and cuts the stump a little bit higher than you actually intended it to cut, which is a bit of a nuisance. Although that one didn't do too bad. It did bounce, but it didn't do any major harm. Bring that back onto there and then down a bit. There we go, like that. That would be a more sensible way of doing it. Bring that back round. Cutting this, not cutting the field, ploughing this field up. That's the one bit that is going to be a time-consuming task. But that's going to be the last major ploughing job that we're going to have to do. Well, I'm hoping it's the last major ploughing job. I'm hoping that we will then have enough land to be able to do the pigs properly without having to go and get more. We might have to get more. We may end up having to do that, but I'm hoping that we can get away with not. We can do... I know I said that we can't do 2 crops... do a crop 2 years running, so I can't like do corn and then do corn the following year as well in order to keep the pigs going. But what I was thinking a good crop rotation would be, we do corn, and you've got to plough after corn, unfortunately, so there's a bit of work involved with it. We do corn, then we've got to plough the fields, and then after we've done the corn, we do wheat or the canola or beans, one or the other, and then so wheat or barley, and then we do another thing of corn, and then we do the other wheat, the wheat, barley, or the canola beans option. So we sort of swap. We do corn every other year, and that should, I'm hoping, provide enough corn to keep the pigs going. Because we know that once you get a full sty of pigs, they do consume quite a bit of corn. They require quite a substantial quantity of the stuff. And that's not quite so easy to go and deal with if we don't have very much land. It's covering that need, but we cannot grow corn 2 years running. I mean, the other option, of course, is that we don't grow grass every year. Our grass field, we hope that we get enough coming off of the grass field 1 year to just sort of hold it for hold the cows and keep them going for a couple of years, and then change over again. Of course, the other question is whether we go for pigs and cows at roughly the same time and start working through them, or if I don't. I'm thinking I probably won't. I'm thinking I'll probably focus on the cows first, build those numbers up so that we've got something established and we've got a good system in place for handling the cows, and then once we're getting the money from them, we're getting the milk coming in from those as well, then we can start dealing with the pigs, and we can start building up some supplies of crops as well to keep them going. Right, let's bring that one over there. I've just realised I've run out of time. I haven't got enough time to go up through and finish doing this run up here. Although we've got most of the trees up through there. We have not got many trees left. There are not many at all, he says, looking at... must be nearly 50 trees, crumbs. So, yeah, if you've enjoyed today's episode, then please hit down below and give us a like. And if you really enjoyed it, then please tell your friends all about me. Get them to go and watch as well. That would be awesome. And until next time, thank you very much for watching. This is Frithgar. Goodbye, and see you later.